Welcome to Dream Tale Sleep Stories. Tonight's reading is The Whispering Willow Park. Settle into your bed or sofa and let your shoulders, jaw, and eyelids grow heavy. Inhale slowly, 1, 2, 3, and sigh the air away, allowing the day to fade into quiet dark. With every soft inhale, you invite fresh English phrases. With every gentle exhale, stray thoughts drift farther off. Behind my voice flows a gentle melody, renowned for guiding the mind toward deep relaxation. Keep your eyes closed or follow the captions, whichever feels right. Simply receive the rhythm and resonance of the language. Deep in rest, tonight's phrases will take root like seeds, ready to bloom into stronger English skills with the morning light. When you feel settled, hold that unhurried breath and allow yourself to drift into the tale. The Whispering Willow Park begins now, and when the story's final line has faded, the music will linger a little longer, carrying you gently deeper into sleep. Emma Richardson had been coming to Willow Park since she was 5 years old, and now, at 12, she knew every tree, every bench, and every hidden corner better than anyone else in the neighborhood. The park stretched across 15 acres of rolling green hills, dotted with ancient oak trees and crossed by winding gravel paths that led to various play areas, gardens, and quiet spots perfect for reading or daydreaming. What Emma didn't know, however, was that the park had been watching her grow up just as carefully as she had been exploring its grounds. Willow Park was no ordinary collection of trees, grass, and playground equipment. It was a living entity with thoughts, feelings, and a deep affection for the children who played within its boundaries every day. The park's consciousness had awakened gradually over the past century, growing stronger with each generation of children who had laughed, played, and created memories among its trees. It had watched countless families picnic on its lawns, witnessed first steps on its pathways, and provided comfort to lonely souls who found solace in its peaceful atmosphere. The park's heart was centered around the massive weeping willow tree that gave it its name, a magnificent specimen that had stood for over 200 years and served as the focal point of the park's awareness. On this particular autumn morning, Emma arrived at the park earlier than usual, her backpack slung over one shoulder and a worried expression clouding her usually bright face. She had overheard her parents talking late into the night about the city council's proposal to sell part of the park to developers who wanted to build a shopping complex. The very thought made her stomach turn with anxiety. As she walked along the familiar path toward her favorite reading spot beneath the willow tree, Emma felt something she had never experienced before, a gentle warmth that seemed to radiate from the ground beneath her feet, traveling up through her legs and settling in her chest like a comforting hug. She stopped abruptly, looking around in confusion, but saw nothing unusual except the morning mist drifting lazily through the trees. "That's strange," she murmured to herself, continuing toward the willow tree. What Emma didn't realize was that the park had been trying to communicate with her for weeks, sensing her deep connection to the land and recognizing her as someone who might be able to help in its time of need. The park's consciousness had grown increasingly agitated as it sensed the threat of destruction looming over a significant portion of its territory. As Emma settled against the trunk of the great willow, opening her book to continue reading where she had left off the day before, she felt the strange warmth again, this time accompanied by what sounded almost like a whisper in the rustling leaves above her head. She looked up, squinting through the drooping branches, but the wind had died down completely, leaving the leaves perfectly still. "Hello, Emma," came a voice so soft and gentle that she almost convinced herself she had imagined it. Emma's book slipped from her hands, landing with a soft thud on the grass beside her. She scrambled to her feet, spinning around to see who had spoken, but found herself completely alone in the quiet morning air. "Who's there?" she called out, her voice slightly shaky, but curious rather than frightened. "Don't be afraid, child," the voice responded, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "I am the park itself, and I have been hoping for the chance to speak with you for quite some time." Emma's rational mind told her that parks couldn't talk, that this was impossible. But something deep in her heart recognized the truth in the voice's words. She had always felt a special connection to this place, had always sensed that it was more than just a collection of plants and playground equipment. "You're really the park?" she whispered, reaching out to touch the rough bark of the willow tree. "I am indeed," the voice confirmed, and Emma could swear she felt a pulse of life beneath her palm as she touched the tree. "I am every tree, every flower, every blade of grass. I am the soil that nurtures life and the air that carries the laughter of children. I am Willow Park, and I have been aware and watching for longer than you might imagine." Emma sank back down to sit against the tree, her mind reeling with this incredible revelation. "But why are you talking to me now? Why haven't you spoken before?" "Because I need your help, dear Emma," the park replied, its voice heavy with concern. "I am facing the greatest threat I have ever encountered. The city council plans to sell the eastern section of my territory, the area where the old playground stands, along with the duck pond and the community garden that Mrs. Henderson tends so lovingly." Emma's heart sank as she realized what this meant. The old playground was where she had learned to swing and climb, where she had made her first friends in the neighborhood. The duck pond was home to a family of mallards that had been returning every spring for as long as she could remember. And Mrs. Henderson's community garden provided fresh vegetables for several families in the area who couldn't afford to buy expensive organic produce. "What can I do?" Emma asked, feeling small and helpless in the face of such a large problem. "I'm just a kid. The adults make all the decisions." "You underestimate the power of children," the park said warmly. "Children see the world with clear eyes and open hearts. They understand the value of play, of nature, of simple joys that adults often forget in their rush toward progress and profit. But you won't be alone in this fight, Emma. There are others who love me as much as you do, and together you might be able to make a difference." Over the next hour, as the park grew busier with the arrival of other children and their families, the park shared its plan with Emma. It could communicate with all the children who spent time within its boundaries, but it needed someone to help coordinate their efforts and speak for them to the adults who held the power to save or destroy the threatened section. Emma's mind was buzzing with possibilities and concerns as she finally gathered her things and headed home for lunch. She had promised the park that she would think carefully about what it had told her and return the next day with her decision. As she walked away, she felt the park's gratitude washing over her like sunshine, warm and encouraging despite the difficult task ahead. That evening, Emma found it nearly impossible to concentrate on her homework or family dinner conversation. Her parents noticed her distraction, but attributed it to her usual tendency to daydream. If only they knew what was really occupying her thoughts, the incredible secret she now carried, and the enormous responsibility that had been placed on her young shoulders. The next morning, Emma arrived at the park with her decision made. She had spent much of the night thinking about all the memories she had created in this special place, all the other children who depended on it for friendship and adventure, and all the wildlife that called it home. She couldn't stand by and watch it be destroyed without at least trying to help. "I'll do it," she announced as soon as she reached the willow tree. "I'll help you save the park." "I knew you would," the park replied, its voice filled with pride and relief. "Now, let me introduce you to some of the other children who share your love for this place." Throughout the morning, as Emma played and explored, she began to notice things she had never seen before. The way certain children seemed to pause and listen when the wind rustled through the leaves, as if hearing something beyond the normal sounds of nature. The way some of them would stop suddenly while playing and look around with expressions of wonder and understanding. It was during the lunch hour, when the park was at its busiest, that Emma first witnessed the park's ability to communicate with multiple children at once. She was sitting on a bench near the central playground, eating a sandwich her mother had packed, when she noticed a group of kids gathering near the old elm tree that stood beside the tennis courts. There was Marcus, a 10-year-old boy with curly red hair, who was known throughout the neighborhood for his incredible ability to climb any tree. Sarah and Jenny, 8-year-old twins, who seemed to have an endless supply of energy and imagination. David, a quiet 9-year-old who preferred reading to sports, but who could always be found exploring the more secluded areas of the park. And Lily, a 6-year-old who had recently moved to the neighborhood and was still shy around the other children. Emma watched in amazement as the group stood in a circle around the oak tree, their heads tilted as if they were listening to something she couldn't hear from her position across the playground. After a few minutes, they broke apart and began walking purposefully in her direction. "You heard it too, didn't you?" Marcus asked as he approached Emma's bench, his freckled face serious and determined. "The park," Sarah added, her twin sister nodding vigorously beside her. "It told us you're going to help save it." Emma looked at the group of children surrounding her bench, all of them wearing expressions of hope and determination that made her heart swell with emotion. "You all heard the park talking?" "Some of us have been hearing it for a while," David said quietly, pushing his glasses up his nose. "I thought I was going crazy at first, but then I realized it was real." "It told us about the developers," Jenny said, her voice angry. "They want to tear down our playground and build stores." Little Lily stepped forward, her voice barely above a whisper, but filled with fierce conviction. "We can't let them hurt our park." And so began the most unusual planning session in the history of Willow Park. 6 children, ranging in age from 6 to 12, gathered beneath the ancient oak tree to listen as the park itself outlined a strategy to save the threatened section from development. The park explained that the city council would be holding a public hearing in 2 weeks, where citizens could voice their opinions about the proposed sale. The park's plan was elegantly simple: organize the children and families who use the park regularly to attend the hearing and speak passionately about what the park meant to them. But the park also had a more creative idea, something that would capture the attention of the council members and the local media in a way that simple speeches might not. It wanted the children to create a living demonstration of the park's value by organizing a day-long festival that would showcase all the activities and programs that would be lost if the development went through. "We could have the nature club display all the different plants and animals that live in the section they want to sell," Emma suggested, her mind already racing with possibilities. "And the community garden could host a harvest festival," Marcus added. "Mrs. Henderson is always talking about how much food that garden produces." "We could organize games and activities to show how much the playground means to the little kids," Sarah said. "And my mom's book club meets here every Tuesday," David added. "Maybe they could do a reading demonstration." As the children continued brainstorming, the park itself contributed suggestions through gentle whispers in the wind and feelings of encouragement that flowed through the ground beneath their feet. It was an extraordinary collaboration between nature and humanity, between the wisdom of an ancient consciousness and the passionate creativity of young minds. Over the next week, the children threw themselves into the project with an enthusiasm that amazed their parents and teachers. Emma took on the role of coordinator, using her natural leadership abilities to keep everyone organized and focused. She created lists of tasks, coordinated schedules, and even convinced her older brother to help design flyers on his computer. Marcus used his tree climbing skills to hang banners and decorations in the higher branches, creating a canopy of colorful messages about the park's importance to the community. Sarah and Jenny seemed to be everywhere at once, spreading word about the festival to every family in the neighborhood and beyond. David researched the legal aspects of the proposed development, discovering important facts about environmental impact studies and zoning regulations that the adults had overlooked. Even shy little Lily found her voice during this campaign, creating beautiful drawings that illustrated the many ways children and families use the park. Her artwork was so moving that Emma's mother insisted on making copies to distribute at the city council meeting. As the day of the festival approached, the park itself seemed to glow with anticipation. The grass grew a little greener, the flowers bloomed a little brighter, and the trees rustled with an energy that went beyond the normal autumn breeze. It was as if the park was putting its best face forward, demonstrating its vitality and beauty for all to see. The festival day dawned crisp and clear, with golden sunlight streaming through the trees and a gentle breeze carrying the scent of fallen leaves and late-blooming flowers. By 9 in the morning, families were arriving with blankets, picnic baskets, and homemade signs supporting the park's preservation. Mrs. Henderson's community garden became a showcase of the season's harvest, with tables groaning under the weight of pumpkins, squash, tomatoes, and herbs that demonstrated the productive capacity of the land the developers wanted to purchase. Families who had benefited from the garden's bounty shared stories of how the fresh vegetables had supplemented their grocery budgets and provided healthy options for their children. The Nature Club, led by Mr. Thompson from the local environmental center, set up educational stations throughout the threatened area, highlighting the diverse ecosystem that had developed over decades of careful stewardship. Children and adults alike marveled at displays of local bird species, native plants, and the complex web of relationships that existed within the park's boundaries. The old playground became a hub of activity as parents and grandparents watched their children demonstrate games and activities that had been passed down through generations of park visitors. The worn wooden structures and metal slides might not have been as modern as the newer equipment in other areas of the park, but they held memories and fostered imagination in ways that sterile plastic playgrounds could never match. Throughout the day, local media representatives interviewed festival participants, capturing heartfelt testimonials about the park's role in their lives. Emma found herself speaking to a newspaper reporter about her love for the park and her hope that future generations would be able to enjoy the same experiences she had treasured. "This park isn't just land," she explained, unconsciously echoing the words the park itself had whispered to her over the past weeks. "It's a living part of our community. It's where families come together, where children learn about nature, where neighbors become friends. You can't replace that with a shopping center." As the afternoon progressed, the festival took on an almost magical quality. The park seemed to be participating actively in the celebration, with perfectly timed breezes that carried the sound of children's laughter across the grounds, and shafts of golden sunlight that highlighted the most photogenic moments for the assembled media. Emma felt the park's joy and gratitude flowing through her as she watched the community come together in support of this special place. Families who had never spoken to each other before were sharing food and stories. Children who attended different schools were playing together as if they had been friends for years. Elderly residents were teaching traditional games to younger generations, creating new connections across age groups. By evening, as families began packing up their belongings and saying goodbye, it was clear that the festival had achieved everything the park had hoped for and more. The demonstration of community support had been overwhelming, with over 300 people participating throughout the day. Local news outlets had covered the event extensively, and several city council members had stopped by to witness the celebration firsthand. But the real test would come at the council meeting the following Tuesday. Emma spent the intervening days feeling nervous and excited in equal measure. She had been chosen to speak on behalf of all the children who use the park, a responsibility that felt enormous, but also necessary. The night before the council meeting, Emma visited the park one final time to gather her courage and receive any last-minute advice from her unusual ally. As she sat beneath the willow tree in the gathering dusk, she felt the park's consciousness surrounding her like a comforting embrace. "Whatever happens tomorrow," the park whispered through the rustling leaves, "know that you have already given me the greatest gift possible. You have shown me that I am loved and valued by the community I have served for so long." "We're going to save you," Emma replied with fierce determination. "I promise." "Whether you succeed or not, dear Emma, you have already saved something precious. The knowledge that humans and nature can communicate, can work together, can care for each other across the boundaries that seem to separate us. That understanding will grow and spread, no matter what happens to this small piece of land." The next evening, Emma stood at the podium in the city council chambers, looking out at a room packed with supporters from the festival and beyond. Her prepared speech trembled slightly in her hands, but her voice was clear and strong as she began to speak. "Honorable council members, my name is Emma Richardson, and I am 12 years old. I have been coming to Willow Park since I was 5, and it has been like a second home to me all these years. But I'm not here tonight just to talk about my own experiences. I'm here to speak for all the children who depend on this park for their happiness, their health, and their connection to the natural world." As Emma continued her speech, describing the festival, the community garden, the wildlife habitat, and the irreplaceable memories created in the threatened section of the park, she felt the park's presence supporting her. It was as if the consciousness of every tree, every flower, every blade of grass was lending her strength and helping her find the right words to convey what this place meant to so many people. The council members listened attentively as Emma and several other speakers presented their case for preserving the park in its entirety. The developer's representative made his presentation as well, focusing on the economic benefits of the proposed shopping complex and the tax revenue it would generate for the city. When the formal presentations ended and the council retired to deliberate, Emma and her fellow park advocates waited nervously in the hallway outside the chambers. Marcus paced back and forth, while Sarah and Jenny held hands and whispered quietly to each other. David read a book, but kept glancing at the closed doors, and little Lily drew pictures on the back of her mother's notepad. After what felt like hours, but was actually only 90 minutes, the council members returned to announce their decision. Emma held her breath as the mayor called for order and began to read the resolution they had drafted. After careful consideration of all the information presented tonight, and in recognition of the overwhelming community support for preserving Willow Park in its current form, this council votes unanimously to reject the proposed development and to instead explore options for improving and expanding the park's facilities while maintaining its natural character. The room erupted in cheers and applause as Emma felt tears of relief and joy streaming down her cheeks. Around her, families hugged and children jumped up and down with excitement. They had done it. They had saved the park. That night, Emma made one final visit to her special place beneath the willow tree. As she sat in the peaceful darkness, surrounded by the gentle sounds of night creatures and rustling leaves, she felt the park's deep contentment flowing through every root and branch. "Thank you, Emma," the park whispered, its voice filled with emotion. "Thank you for helping me when I needed it most." "Thank you for trusting me," Emma replied, "and for teaching me that if we really listen, we can hear the voices of everything around us that needs our help." As she walked home through the familiar paths one more time, Emma reflected on how much she had learned over the past few weeks. She had discovered that she was braver than she had ever imagined, that her voice could make a difference in the adult world, and that the natural world around her was far more complex and aware than she had ever dreamed. But perhaps most importantly, she had learned that when people work together with love and determination, they can accomplish things that seem impossible. The park would continue to grow and thrive, providing a home for wildlife and a gathering place for the community for generations to come. Years later, when Emma was grown up with children of her own, she would bring them to play beneath the same trees where she had spent her childhood. And sometimes, when the wind was just right and the afternoon light fell across the grass in a particular way, she would hear a familiar whisper in the rustling leaves, a reminder of the magical partnership between a young girl and an ancient consciousness that had saved something precious for all who would come after. The park continued to watch over the children who played within its boundaries, protecting them and nurturing their sense of wonder and connection to the natural world. And though it rarely spoke aloud anymore, its presence could be felt by those who took the time to listen, a gentle reminder that we are all part of something larger than ourselves, something that deserves our love, respect, and protection. In the end, Willow Park's greatest secret was not that it possessed consciousness and the ability to communicate, but that it had taught an entire community to see the world through different eyes, to recognize the living spirit that exists in all natural places, and to understand their responsibility as caretakers of the earth they all shared. Emma's adventure had ended, but the park's story would continue forever, written in the laughter of children, the songs of birds, and the whispered wisdom of ancient trees that remembered everything and forgot nothing. The Whispering Willow Park had found its voice, and in doing so, had helped a community find theirs as well.